Perspectives on the Study of Indian Society by G.S. Gure. In this video, we'll discuss G.S. Gure's perspective on caste and G.S. Gure's perspective on tribes and the criticism of G.S. Gure's work. In his book Caste and Race in India, G.S. Gure writes about 6 features of caste system in India. The first feature is segmental division of society. Castes are segmental divisions in Hindu society which are exclusive groups. That is, membership of a person in a caste is ascripted from birth itself. According to Gure, caste is a closed social system. That is, vertical mobility or horizontal mobility, intergenerational mobility and intragenerational mobility is not possible in caste system in India. Castes organize and manage their own functional affairs to Jati Panchayats. Jati Panchayats regulate the members of the caste, the roles of their caste, their employment and occupation. The caste system, different castes within a particular area also follow different customs. That is, the rituals, the food habits, the other different things are different even among different castes in same particular area. Second factor, according to G.S. Gure, is hierarchy. Caste society is arranged in a rank order. That is, Brahmins are arranged at the top, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and followed by Shudras. This rank order defines a relationship of superiority and inferiority among castes depending on their position in caste hierarchy. The third factor is restrictions on food, drinks and social intercourse. Restrictions on food are the rules which defines from which caste a person can accept food and water. It is learned that the higher the caste of a person, the lower the number of castes from which he can receive food from. The lower the caste of a person, the higher the number of castes from which he can receive food from. There are also restrictions on use of commonwealths and ponds by some caste members, etc. Social intercourse is the proximity between different castes for different social functions like meetings, etc. Civil and religious disabilities is the fourth factor that is discussed by Gure. What are the religious disabilities? Religious disabilities are restrictions on participation in Sanskritic rituals by different caste groups. Lower castes are restricted from entering into different temples and performing rituals, wearing different religious symbols and etc. Civil restrictions or restrictions on education from lower castes. Lower castes are not allowed to enter into gurukuls and gain education on par with higher castes. There are also restrictions on making sea journeys. It is perceived that if a person crosses the sea, he loses his caste status. Endogamy is the fifth factor according to Gure. Endogamy is defined as a marriage among members of a particular social group. In caste, both the bride and the bridegroom need to come from the same caste community. Endogamy is seen as the main factor which enabled the persistence of caste in India. Endogamy rules apply not only to caste, to subcaste and sub-subcaste. All the marriages outside the endogamy are hypergamy and hypogamy. Hypergamy is a marriage between a man from an upper caste and woman from a lower caste. Hypergamy was tolerated to a certain extent. But hypogamy, which is the opposite of hypergamy, in which the marriage between a lower caste man and an upper caste woman attracted severe punishment. Lastly, there is restriction on occupation. Every caste has a religiously defined occupation. Brahmins had the occupation of education, Kshatriyas had the of administration, etc. Occupation and skill was passed on from father to son, and upper caste attended gurukuls for their education. Agriculture as an occupation was open to all the castes. Hence, people from all the castes had a primary occupation and a secondary occupation. G.S. Gure considered that caste was an egalitarian institution which was only created for division of labor purposes. In the olden days, the caste was an open institution in which a person, depending on his achievement in different fields, is able to change his caste according to his achievement. But in later days, caste became closed institutions and mobility became restricted. G.S. Gure also says that caste in 20th century is being used for different political purposes, for personal uses, etc. G.S. Gure and tribes. The role of Hinduism in creation of a common cultural knowledge in India was discussed in the last video. Here we have learned that the essential ideas, that is the triads, which acted as common cultural consciousness of India, was assimilated in all the ethnicities and tribes. G.S. Gure stated that tribes are essential part of Hinduism. The mutual interaction led to the assimilation of tribal culture into Hinduism and vice versa. Hence, G.S. Gure did not try to differentiate the caste Hindus or the Hindus that are living in the tribes from the tribals who are living in the forest. Hence, G.S. Gure appealed to Nehru to follow an integrative tribal policy after independence. Criticism of G.S. Gure. G.S. Gure's theory of common cultural conscience prevailing over India was criticized by T.K. Uman, who writes that different caste groups of indigenous communities go for their own categorical values. Even in case of conversion, the values are not totally disbanded and new values are totally not imbibed. The different values and practices exist between same caste in different geographical regions also. Secondly, A.M. Shah criticizes by saying that G.S. Gure was trying to regularize people's behavior. That means behavior of people that need not always correlate with text. That is, Indology may not be the perfect method to study the behavior of people. Thirdly, M.N. Srinivas writes that even within Hinduism, there are wide ranges of practices relating to rituals, marriages, food, etc. And finally, M.N. Srinivas' theory on caste Sanskritization states that caste is a dynamic institution and it need not always follow similar practices. Thank you.